Welcome. Come a little closer. I'm Evangeline Moss, and tonight the cypress trees are still, and the candlelight is low. Out here, the air is thick with stories, the kind that drift through the moss and settle softly around you. So, rest your eyes, listen closely, and let the swamp tell you a story. There's something about a porch at night. During the day, it's just wood and nails, a place for a rocking chair and sweet tea, a place where people wave when they pass by. But at night, a porch becomes something else. A threshold. A place where things can wait. And in my case, something did. It started with the light. That old porch light had always flickered. Ever since we moved into our house off Cypress Bend. My dad said it was just bad wiring. My mom said it gave the place character. I didn't like it. Because it didn't flicker like a normal light. It pulsed. Slow. Like breathing. On. Off. On. Off. Like it was trying to decide whether it wanted to stay. The first night, I noticed it. I couldn't sleep. I remember checking my phone. 2:13 a.m. And for some reason, I felt like I needed to look outside. You ever get that feeling? Not curiosity. Not fear. Just clarity. Like something is waiting for you to notice it. So I got up, walked quietly past the hallway mirror. I didn't look at it. I never do at night. And made my way to the front window. The curtain was thin enough I could see the light through it. Still flickering. Slow. Patient. I pulled the curtains back just a little. And there was nothing there. Just an empty porch. The wooden boards. The railing. The steps leading down into the dark yard. Empty. Too empty. The kind of empty that feels occupied. The light flickered again. On. Off. On. And in that brief moment of darkness, something shifted. Not outside, Not in the yard. On the porch. Closer than it should have been. The light snapped back on. Nothing there. But my chest tightened anyway. Because I hadn't imagined that feeling. That something had moved forward. Just a little. I kept watching. I don't know how long. Long enough for the flicker to start again. Slower now. More deliberate. On. Off. On. Off. And every time the light went out, the darkness didn't feel the same way it came back. Like it was changing shape. Like something was using it. The next time it went dark, I didn't breathe. I didn't blink. And in that second, I saw it. Not clearly. Not all at once. But enough. A shape where nothing had been before. Tall. Wrong. Standing at the far edge of the porch. The light came back on. It was gone. But I knew where it had been. And I knew it hadn't been there before. My hand tightened on the curtains. I should have let it go. Closed it. Walked away. But I didn't. Because something in me needed to see it again. Needed to know. The flicker slowed. Like it understood that. Like it was giving me time. On. Off. This time it was closer. Not at the edge anymore. Halfway across the porch. Still. And watching. The light returned, and the space was empty again. But the distance between where it had been and where it was, that stayed in my mind. Measured. Impossible to ignore. I felt it then. Not outside. Behind me. No. Not behind. Inside the house. Like the darkness wasn't just out there anymore. Like it had found another way to move. The light flickered again. Faster now. On, off, on. Each time closer. Each time clearer. Until finally it didn't disappear fast enough. And I saw it, standing just beneath the light. Not a shadow. Not exactly. because shadows don't stand on their own. And they don't lean. It tilted slightly, like it was trying to understand me, like it had been watching for longer than I'd realized. Its shape wasn't right. Too long in places, too narrow in others. Like something wearing the idea of a person, but not getting it quite correct. The light held steady, and for the first time, it didn't vanish. It stayed, just at the edge of the glow, close enough that I could see where the light should have touched it, but didn't. Like it swallowed it instead. I couldn't move. Couldn't even pull the curtains closed. Because something told me if I stopped looking, it wouldn't stay where it was. And then it moved. Not a step, not a shift, a glide, slow and silent, until it stood directly in front of the door. The light above it flickered violently, once, twice, and then steadied, framing it like it wanted me to see. Its head turned, just slightly, towards the window, towards me. And even though I couldn't see a face, I knew it was looking at me, because something in my chest dropped, like I had just been found. The knocking didn't come from the door. Not at first. It came from the glass. Soft. 3 taps. Right in front of me. I didn't realize I had leaned closer to the window until I felt my breath hit it, fogging the space between us. 3 more taps, slow and patient, like it had all the time in the world. And then, without moving its body, without taking a step, it was closer. Too close. Right on the other side of the glass, where there should have been space, there wasn't any more. The light flickered once more, and for just a second, I saw it clearly. Not a face. Not anything I could name. Just something that understood shape, but not life. And then it lifted its hand, long, thin, wrong, and tapped 3 times. Exactly where my heart was. The light went out, and this time it stayed out. In the darkness, I heard it breathe. Not outside, not on the porch, inside, right behind me. I didn't turn around. Every instinct I had, every quiet, human part of me knew better. Because the moment you look, you confirm it's there. And I was not ready for that. The air behind me shifted. Not a breeze, not movement, presence. Close enough that I could feel the space around me change. Like something was standing where nothing should be. I tried to breathe slowly, quietly, but my chest wouldn't listen. It rose too fast, too sharp, and that's when I heard it. Matching me. A second breath, right behind my own. In, out. In, out. Perfect. Like it had been practicing. Like it had been waiting for me to show it how. My fingers tightened against the curtain. I told myself, don't move. Don't turn. Don't acknowledge it. Because if it's learning, then it's watching. And if it's watching, it wants something. The floor creaked, but not under me, behind me. One step, careful, measured. Like it wasn't used to wait yet. Like it was figuring out how to stand. Another step. Closer. I could feel it now. Not touching, but almost. That space right before contact. Where your skin knows something is there before it happens. And then it spoke. Not clearly. Not at first. Just a sound. Low. Broken. Like it was trying to form something that it didn't quite understand. I squeezed my eyes shut because I knew what it was trying to do. It was trying to sound like me. Move. My throat tightened. The word caught somewhere between a breath and a whisper. Move. I didn't. I couldn't. Because if I did, if I reacted, it would know it was getting closer. The hallway mirror stood just to my left. I hadn't looked at it when I walked in. I never do at night. But now, I didn't have a choice. Because something in the glass shifted. Not behind me, in the reflection. Slowly, without moving my head, my eyes slid towards it. And what I saw was wrong. I was still standing at the window, still holding the curtain, still frozen. But behind me, something else stood where it should have been. Not clear, not fully shaped, but enough. Tall, bent slightly, like it was trying to match my height, my posture, my shape. And its head tilted, watching me through the reflection, the way I refused to turn and face it. Look. The voice came again, closer to mine now, closer to right, like it was learning with every second I gave it. Look at me. The reflection didn't move when I did. That was the first thing I noticed, because I hadn't moved. But it had. Just slightly. Its arms lifted, a fraction too long, a fraction too slow, until its hand hovered near my shoulders. Not touching, just waiting. Please. That word. That one felt so wrong in many different ways. Softer, almost convincing, like it had found something useful, something that worked. Please look. My breath hitched, and it copied that too. Sharper now, closer to real, closer to me. And that's when I understood. It didn't need me to turn around. It just needed time. Time to learn. Time to match. Time to become something I wouldn't question. The reflection smiled. I didn't, but it did. Slow, careful, practiced. Like it had been waiting to try it. See, it whispered, and the voice was mine now. Perfect. Not broken. Not wrong. Mine. You don't even have to turn. My hand slipped on the curtain. Just slightly. Just enough to make the fabric shift. And that tiny movement changed everything. Because the reflection reacted before I did. Its head snapped just a fraction, like it had anticipated it. Like it was ahead of me now. And then its hand landed. Not in the reflection. On me. Cold. Not like skin. Not like anything alive. Just pressure. Wrong. Certain. Claiming. I gasped. And at this time, it didn't copy me. Because it didn't need to anymore. It had already learned enough. The light in the hallway flickered. Once. Twice. And in that last flashing moment, I saw it not in the mirror, but in the room. Right where it shouldn't be. Right where it'd been building itself. Tall. Crooked. Wearing something almost like me. But stretched. Pulled. Too thin in places. Too long in others. And its face, if you could call that a face, shifted. Trying, failing, trying again, until finally it settled into mine. Not perfect, not quite, but close enough that in the wrong light, you wouldn't question it. And in my voice, it said, "You can rest now." My hand went slack. My body heavy, like something had decided I was no longer needed. The last thing I saw was my reflection, still standing in the window, still holding the curtain, still watching the porch, while something else turned away from me and walked deeper into my house, learning the way, learning the rooms, learning how to stay. And somewhere behind me, in that reflection. I swear I saw myself finally move. Just a little bit. Just enough to tap the glass 3 times. Slow. Patient. Waiting. That night, I didn't remember moving. Didn't remember leaving the window. Didn't remember turning around, even though something had been standing there, close enough to breathe, close enough to learn. Everything after that moment feels misplaced, like pages out of order, or memories that don't belong to me anymore. Because the next thing I knew, I was in bed, lying on my back, staring at the ceiling. The room, dark. Too dark. The kind of dark that feels complete, like nothing else exists beyond it. For a while, I didn't move, didn't even try, because something felt wrong. Not around me, not in the room, in me. Like my body had settled into place, but not the right place. Like I had been put back, slightly off. My hand rested on my chest, still, quiet. But the longer I laid there, the more it felt like I was waiting for something. Not thinking, not deciding, waiting. And then, without meaning to, I turned my head, slow, careful, towards the doorway. The hallway beyond was dark, but not empty. Something was in it, shifted. Not movement, not shape, just the feeling that something had already passed through it. And then the light changed. Not turning on, not flickering, just arriving. Soft, gray, morning. Slipping into the room like it had always been there. And just like that, everything felt normal again. Quiet, still, safe. Like nothing had ever happened. Like I had imagined all of it. The porch, the light, the tapping, the thing in the reflection, gone. I sat up slowly. My body moved the way it should. No hesitations, no resistance, just mine again. I swung my legs over the side of the bed, stood Waited. Nothing. No breath behind me. No second rhythm. No presence pressing into the space. Just morning. I almost smiled because I felt ridiculous now. All of it. The kind of fear that only makes sense in the dark. The kind that disappears when light comes in. I stepped into the hallway and stopped. The mirror was uncovered. The sheet folded neatly on the floor beneath it. Not dropped. Not pulled. Folded. Like someone had taken its time. My chest tightened. Slowly. Heavy. I stepped closer. Careful. Like approaching something that might react. The glass was clean. Still. Empty. My reflection stared back at me as it should. Same posture. Same expression. Same breath. For a moment, I thought maybe it was over. Maybe whatever had been there had left. And then my reflection blinked. I didn't. Not right away. Just a fraction of a second after it did, I blinked too. Like I was the one that was catching up. The candle is burning low now, and the swamp has grown quiet. If you're still awake, there's always another story waiting for you here. Sleep well, and I'll be right here when you return.